It's freezing out here. So we're going to start. So why don't the people who are hiding in the back come forward and have a seat? Because we like everybody up front. Come on, I'll wait for you. I hope you notice what was brought by Maple School in the back. Come tell us about it, Anthony. For those who don't know, because we have a lot of new people here, this is our very special Anthony Abney, principal of Maple School. Yay! Come and tell us.
Hi, everybody. So we have an ofrenda in the back for Dia de los Muertos. So if you want to go back there and take a look, it has lots of the traditional elements, including wind and fire and water and earth, and a couple of tributes to some of my family members. So anyway, that's what we did for you guys. Thank you.
Maple has been doing that for several years now and having competitions. And what's most interesting is Anthony has told me in the past that some of his Latino parents come up to him and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know what all those elements were. I didn't know what that was." And so they have gotten a full education on their own culture. And we appreciate what your work is. So tonight we are going to have special honors. Dr. Helene, you want to come up and start? I don't have a schedule. Do you have a schedule?
I have what we're presenting for PBIS.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to start with our PBIS because that's...
So we'll invite our Maple students?
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing that inside. We'll start. Sorry, I was confused. Would we have our Maple students come up and lead us in the pledge?
All right, so we have Leticia Cabrera here, one of our amazing Maple students and student body president, who is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Please raise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
In a moment, we are going to get started with our PBIS awards and recognition. And so we'd like to invite our board and our cabinet to join us up here and to form a line as you help us. So I wanted to say thank you to President Sugarman, our Board of Trustees, our Superintendent, Dr. Pletka, and our Executive Cabinet. I'm Helene Morris, our Director of Administrative Services, and it's my privilege to be here with all of you tonight. I would also like to recognize our social emotional learning team. And if you could just give a quick wave when I call your name. Our department leader is Dr. Chad Hammett, our Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services, which is now under the name of Human Resources. Rosanna Fonseca, our cell coordinator. Amy Lees, our cell TOSA coach in the back. And with her, Juan Fonseca, our community liaison. And then over here with our awards, we have Jackie Gallardo Hoffmaster, our lead counselor, and Lauren Camini, our student success mentor. And last but not least, our lady of the hour, Amy Sotolongo, our PBIS TOSA coach, who's a big part of our effort tonight.
Thank you. This evening we're here to celebrate PBIS, which stands for Positive Behavioral Supports and Interventions. PBIS is built on the premise that students don't come to school knowing behavior expectations, but rather that expectations need to be taught directly and explicitly in the same way we teach reading and math to students. Therefore, PBIS is not a curriculum, but a research-based framework of proactive strategies for defining, teaching, and supporting appropriate behaviors. PBIS uses a tiered continuum of evidence-based supports and is inclusive of all school settings. It's also closely connected to the work we're doing to support the social-emotional learning, or SEL, of our students.
Thank you, Amy. And now the moment you've been waiting for. The Fullerton School District is known for unprecedented growth and achievement in meeting the needs of our learners, even amidst a global pandemic. For this reason, we are excited to announce that all 20 Fullerton School District schools earned state-level recognition from the California PBIS Coalition. And FSD has seen continual growth in PBIS recognition over the years. In a 4-year time period, FSD has increased from 2 schools receiving statewide recognition to all 20 schools receiving statewide recognition, 2 years. So clearly the level of increase is tremendous.
All right. Recognition was awarded at the silver, gold, and platinum levels. PBIS recognition of any kind is an extraordinary accomplishment and is reflective of the individual growth at each school site in implementing PBIS with fidelity based on the national framework.
And so in a moment, we will be calling each of our schools up in ABC order, and Rosanna Fonseca will help get you up here. And you're going to come up, and you can shake hands or fist bump or do a little elbow dance or whatever is most comfortable for you with our board and our cabinet and our superintendent as well. And we have a beautiful personalized banner for every single school that we'll be giving you, and we hope that you'll proudly display that. And then at the end of this presentation, don't go, because we have one more surprise for you at the end. So we're going to recognize all 20 schools, and then we have a special surprise. Okay, so first up, we have Acacia School with platinum level recognition. Congratulations, Acacia. Next, we have Beechwood School with platinum level recognition. Next is Commonwealth School with gold level recognition. Joining us is Fern Drive School with platinum level recognition. Thank you. And we have our team from Fistler with platinum level recognition. Next is Golden Hill with silver level recognition. And next we have Hermosa Drive with platinum level recognition. Please welcome Ladera Vista with silver level recognition. And now we have Laguna Road with platinum level recognition. And next, Maple School with silver level recognition. And now joining us is Nicholas School with gold level recognition. And Orange Thorpe School with gold level recognition. Thank you. Next, we have Pacific Drive with platinum level recognition. Next is Parks with platinum level recognition. And next we have Raymond with platinum level recognition, and their dedicated principal is still at school, but we have Rosalie here. Thank you. And next we have Richmond School with silver level recognition. Next joining us is Rolling Hills with silver level recognition. And we have our team from Sunset Lane with platinum level recognition. And Valencia Park with platinum level recognition. Hi. Congratulations. And rounding out our schools, we have Woodcrest with platinum level recognition. I know, you poor thing. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how's she doing it? We have one more award. We don't have to talk and talk. You won't.
One more thing to close out our PBIS ceremony tonight.
All right, if we could have everyone's attention for one quick moment, we have one more special recognition.
All right. In March of 2021, we launched PBIS onto our buses. We are the first and only district in Orange County with PBIS on our bus. So we're excited and would like to call up our purchasing and transportation team to celebrate your hard work and receive a beautiful banner.
All the way down, through the handshakes, fist bumps. All right, guys, congratulations. And in the back, we have some water and cookies, and we hope that you will enjoy some refreshments. Our board meeting will be reconvening back in our boardroom. But before we do that, I'm going to turn it over to our board president, Mrs. Hilda Sugarman.
Dr. Morris, can you also share something about the cookies and the water when they leave, please, to grab their cookie? And
Yes.
Don't forget the food, please, because I can only eat so many of them, even though I love them. So in about 5.5 minutes, we're going to convene in the boardroom. But I want to thank each of you for coming out and supporting your staff, your students, and your friends, because that's what makes the celebration so special. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you. nice of so many of you to stay and join us. Before we start, I want to remind people that this meeting will be tape recorded and live streamed. You can access the live stream video through our website, or you can go to bit.ly/FSD Innovation on YouTube. So please feel free at home if you're listening to join us. And I want you to know that Spanish translation, only use the Zoom link that's provided on our website. The phone in is 669-900-9128. The web ID 837-8530-3844. And the passcode 767309. So if anyone has any problems, they can connect with us through the school district website and join us on our video and live stream. We're always happy that you're doing that to learn what's going on with our school district. I see an adorable child here, so I'm going to have to ask everyone to be sure they have their mask on, because that's the indoor rule. And so that's what we'll do. We did our pledge outside. Maple School did the honors, the president of Maple School, Leticia Cabrera, and we appreciated what she did for us. Getting up in front of a lot of people is not easy. And we also had our PBIS, Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports recognition, and we were proud that all 20 of our schools received state recognition for PBIS. That's a really big deal for a school, and we are super proud of each of our schools in our district. Speaking of PBIS, I would say that for exemplary, polite, and following the rules behavior, our board and our cabinet certainly should have gotten their own PBIS award. And so thank them all for their kindness toward everybody and their respect and their cooperations. From closed session, we do have a report. In closed session, the board voted 4-0 to approve the final settlement and release agreement by and between Fullerton School District and the parents of student OAH, case number 202-107-0718. The district agrees to pay, as a compromise and settlement only, the sum of $11,500 for all attorney fees owed or paid by parents in connection with the action. The district also agrees to fund compensatory education services in an amount not to exceed $23,000 through Dynamic Education Services. And we are really proud of all of that. Next, I'm getting organized. This has been a super busy evening. We are going to now do our Fullerton School District Program Spotlight on Digital Citizenship. And I think, are we ready for that? Are we ready for that? Digital citizenship? think if we're very quiet, we can hear. If you can't hear, you could stand up and move closer to where Letitia's speaking from.
Hello? All right, okay, all right. So we're gonna start with a video when Miss Carmen is ready, and then we will it's right up there, and then we will come back to our students.
How's that for everybody? Do you want it a little bit darker from the back, Jeremy? Maybe a little bit darker, just so it can be all movie style.
I'm in sixth grade at Hermosa Hawks Elementary School, and today I'm going to be talking about digital citizenship. One of the lessons that we learned about is bullying on social media. Bullying on social media is something that happens very often on multiple social media platforms that you see on the internet. Like if you're dressing or just anyhow that you can get bullied, being on a platform is a way that people can bully you because they don't know you, they don't know who you are, they don't know what you're doing, they don't know what grade you're in. They find a reason to bully you because they think it's fun and they think it's going to make them happy that they're putting what they have been through, or like let's say they gotten through something sad, they want to put that pain on someone else. A way that you can avoid being bullied, or a way to like get out of the situation that you're being bullied, is a great way is to block the people. Blocking the people is a way you can easily just get them out. Even though they can make multiple accounts, you can just keep blocking them. Report their accounts. After a while, if you keep reporting their accounts, their phone number, their email are just going to get blocked off the account, and they won't ever be able to get onto the app. It's going to be banned from their phone, so they can't do anything to you. I recommend putting your account on private. Putting your account on private is a way that you can not put it all over social media, but you can bring it to close friends that you see. Like, let's say your friend posts a video and you want to watch it. You can watch it and they can watch your videos being on private. It doesn't have to be all public. I've had some friends that have been bullied, like not necessarily like out of school, but just in school too. If you had a friend group can switch up on you really fast. But I feel like the true friends will stay with you, and it made me feel really sad for them, and I felt really bad for them that I wanted to stick by their side and I wanted to be a true friend to them. If you're on social media, why bully someone? I feel like you have nothing better to do. Why not do something that is actually interesting? Learning about math, learning about language arts, learning anything in school, or doing anything productive that does not involve bullying is just a great way to enjoy your life without bullying and without having hate, and have a positive world. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.
Hello everybody, my name is Leticia Cabrera. I'm a 6th grader attending Maple Elementary School.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacqueline and I'm a 6th grader at Valencia Park Elementary.
Great, we'll do this in combination with the slides. So can you go to slide number 3? Just advance forward 2. So you saw the video. Recently we went out to campuses and interviewed students who had done our digital citizenship lessons. And these lessons are required every year so that we can ensure that our students are getting information about how to use their devices, how to use the internet safely. And so I interviewed, that was Marilyn at Hermosa Drive, and then I also, yeah, woohoo! I also interviewed Leticia and Jacqueline. And so we're going to do a quick reflection with them about their video experience. So, yes.
1 minute, West. I do want to point out to the parents at home and staff members, the board and the cabinet frequently get questions about how do we ensure safety for our students. And this is a huge part of it, and I don't want it to go unnoticed or unrespected. So let's have you repeat once more what you just said.
Thank you very much. So each year, we have at every grade level 3 lessons that must be taught, they're required to be taught, that focus on different online safety protocols or standards or ideas. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Leticia and Jacqueline to talk about some of the ones that they remember. And so that's, every year we do this. We get input from principals. Like we've adjusted some of our junior high lessons based on feedback from principals. They said, can you do a little bit more on cyberbullying? So we switched our lessons to focus on that. So we take feedback from sites. And then really why we're here is because we've done what's required every year. And we send the data off to Common Sense Media, and we get certified and recognized as a district who's doing digital citizenship. But we wanted to take it further. And so we wanted students to have some agency and start to talk about these things and demonstrate that they were learning and applying. So in a second here, I'm gonna ask Leticia. I think she said that she, was it digital drama? Was that the idea that you talked about when we did our video? So do you want to talk about that a little bit? What do you remember from the lesson?
Yeah, sure. What I remember from the lesson of digital drama was how to stop it, how to like handle it, and some that I remember was to just walk away from it. And if it gets to the point where you have to do more than just walk away from it, if it gets to the point where it's physical, then you should definitely talk to someone because it's just not worth it.
That's great. That's great. May I? Yeah. So just to rephrase, so it's not just the idea that online may be safe or not safe, but it's what to do and how to act and to have options. And so our students are not only getting the information about digital citizenship, but the opportunity to practice agency by electing different options. Jacqueline, do you remember what you talked about in your video? Yeah. Go for it.
In my video, I talked about balancing your daily life. It's important because you need to have time for your hobbies, such as sports or whatever you like to do, and also have time to chat with your friends online.
Just curious, do you have hobbies outside of the internet and your iPad that you can, what are you into?
Yeah, I really like painting and playing chess, and they help me stay off the iPad.
And so actually making these videos, I learned a couple of tips for myself that I could use too. So in our digital citizenship curriculum, we have always done the required lessons. And I said a second ago, we wanted to go above and beyond that. And so first what we wanted to do is get some student voice and collect what students are thinking about the lessons. And so then we plug that into something that we're calling badging, which we've done as a district, but we are launching badging with digital citizenship. So students, when they do the required lessons, they get what I call a level 1 badge. They've completed the minimum. But if they do what Leticia and Jacqueline have done, which is share their learning, then they get a level 2 badge, which is showing application. And there's even a level 3 badge, which is you made an impact on the world and changed the world by sharing your knowledge. Now, I would argue that Leticia and Jacqueline tonight have made change in the world by bringing their voices into the school board room. So I would love it if you would give them a round of applause and encouragement. And if they can hang out with me for another second, I'll go through the rest of the slides. Ms. Carmen, if you would advance that. So that's an example of a digital badge. You can go forward. So what's new from the digital badges is they can earn a level 1 badge, which we talked about, but they could also create a video, a poster, a PSA, or other resource that they share with other students. And then that would be a level 2 badge, which they're starting to change the world around them instead of just be passive in it. Next slide. That's a beautiful picture right there. Go back, Carmen. So in this picture, I'll just take 10 seconds and what do you see? You don't have to shout out the answer, but just observe. So in this moment, what I see, and you can have your answer, but I see the girl on the left is amazed at something that this happens to be her brother, that her brother is showing her. Next slide, Carmen. And what we are gearing up to do is to give resources. Instead of using the Common Sense Media curriculum only, we're going to start infusing that with lessons that our students have created, videos about their reflections about digital drama, about balancing your work. And so what's amazing in that picture to me is that it used to be technology was amazing, and ooh, an iPad or this app, but we're gonna go into the future, and what's gonna be amazing is our students' voices teaching each other about what they're learning about digital citizenship. And so this is a screenshot of the playlist on YouTube where this is Brian, another Hermosa Drive student. He has charisma to boot, so if you go to FSD Innovation, you can find this. I'll email the board a list of these URLs so you can go watch them. But what's gonna be amazing in the future is our students will be learning about digital citizenship from people who look like them, who sound like them, who connect with the world in the way they do because they're their age, and they may go the same school or the school down the street. So I'm really excited for this. Carmen, next slide. This is an example of what the badges look like. You can go to the next slide. And there's a curriculum. If you ask, I'll send that to you so you can see at what grades we learn the different standards. Go back one, Ms. Carmen. It's hard to keep up with me, I apologize. This is what the badges look like inside Thrively, where students can take their strengths assessments, but they can also see their digital badges. And the next slide. And now for students who are K-3, we have certificates where they can work with the school or the teacher to get those printed because they may not have access as a kindergartner to the Thrively platform. So we have a K-3 option as well. And I think that's our last slide. Oh, no, coming soon. This is like at the end of the Marvel comic movie. So we're gonna start badging for FSD Fest. And so instead of it being a one-stop shop where the students show up on the day of the FSD Fest, they're gonna get digital badges along the way as they, for example, write a script for their film festival, edit their film, film it, and so they're gonna get badges along the way. So that's just a commercial about the next movie.
And speaking of commercials, the Fullerton Education Foundation is very happy to be a major sponsor of Fullerton Fest.
Well played, well played. Again, I just want to say thank you to our students who took time to come out tonight and speak to you. Is there anything that you want to add? I thank you from the bottom of my heart from the time that you gave me at your school sites and that you came out tonight. Is there anything you want to add? Any advice you have to the adults in the room about digital citizenship? She said, no, don't make me give them advice, Japleen. No, okay, we're good here. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Merlin. I'm in 6th grade at Hermosa Hawks Elementary School.
One of our students had a word of thanks she wanted to share, if that's okay.
Hi. I really wanted to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity of coming here, and I really want to thank Miss Ryan because Miss Ryan has been lovely towards me, even though it's just the beginning of the year. And I really want to thank my mom as well because she's an amazing woman and she's helped me get here. That's all.
we have another student who wants to say thank you.
I would like to thank Miss Saul, and I would also like to thank my mom and dad.
Thank you so much.
We are totally aware that our students can't come to us and participate without family support or the support of a friend. And it is always worth taking extra time to say that thank you. And we love having our students here because this school district is about students. And it always reminds us at the beginning of a meeting when our students come and present in any way what we are about and the pride we have in the amazing abilities of our students. So thank everybody. And now we're going to move on to the report from our superintendent.
I just wanted to echo, we've had a fair amount of ceremony today with our PBIS, and I want to thank all our teachers who worked really hard. I want to thank, special thanks to Amy and all the leadership that she's done, and every principal that helped lead this. So thank you to the team and want to celebrate your accomplishment.
Thank you. Now, we're going to start with Trustee Berryman, but I want you to know this is the first time we've had all of our, what was I about to say? Oh, we're going to start with Chad in a minute, but it's the first time we've had all of our principals together, our new ones and our old ones, and we're sorry that one couldn't make it, but this is the first time our board has been able to see everybody, and we appreciate you coming in and listening to our board meeting because we know how much fun it is. Chad?
Yes, thank you so much, President Sugarman, board members, and executive cabinet. I'm very pleased this evening to be able to announce new members of our FSD family. These are folks who have been hired recently as assistant principals, 3 who have already been hired, and 1 who will be joining us tonight when you approve the personnel report. So I'd like to start out with Lindy McNutt. Lindy, can you please stand up? Well, come on in. Lindy is our new assistant principal at Sunset Lake Elementary, and the good news is Lindy has brought some of her family to introduce to our family. Lindy, can you announce who you've brought? I'll bring you the microphone.
Hi, this is my daughter Autumn, and Connor, and my husband Brian. And I'm just very excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are so happy to have Lindy here with us. Today was her second day, so she's already won an award along with her school and has introduced her family to us. So thank you so much. Welcome.
Lindy, do you want to come up here and stand for a moment so at the end we can get a picture of you? And if you want one with your whole family, come on up with the family and someone will take a picture. Okay? Julian, could you take a picture of them? Thank you. Oh, how beautiful you look this evening. Your brother's all ready for this. A great smile. So welcome. Thank you. You have a second person you'd like to introduce to us.
I do. I would next like to introduce Kimberly Simpson, new assistant principal at Pacific Drive. Kimberly, would you like to say just a few brief words?
Sure. Oh, are you sure? I got my Toto Africa queued up. I heard it outside. I'm just so excited to be here. I've been part of the Fullerton family basically my entire career in education, so I'm excited to be taking this next step. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for joining us.
Would you and your principal like to come up front so we could have a photograph of the moment? She always begs me to take her picture. Yes. Thank you. and we hope you're going to love it.
And next, I would like to introduce Susan Ungaro and her family.
Yay!
Well, we had her family. They're doing a great, oh, there they come. Sue, would you like to say just a few words?
Thank you so much, Dr. Hammett. Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm going to go up there? Okay, I'm sorry. Relocating. Hello, everybody. My name is Susan Ungaro, and this is my 18th year with Fullerton School District family. I'm so super blessed to be working with such talented staff members and families and students, and every day I come here, I am just at my happiest, and I share these stories with my family, and they're excited to start, right? You want to come to Fullerton?
Because I go to school.
She had her first day at preschool today, so she's in the school system. So I am just thankful for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody.
And why don't we have a family picture and then your two principals?
Thank you.
Oh, Chad needs that. She can stay if that's important. Thank you, guys. So she's super capable, 2 schools.
Okay, and a lot of location changes. And my final announcement tonight is our 4th new assistant principal. She is on the new personnel report that we're walking in tonight. Her name is Tracy Doe. Tracy, please come on up. And Tracy, if you could say a few words and let us introduce your family.
Okay. So, hi, my name is Tracy Doe. This is my 23rd year as an educator. I'm very excited and eager to be part of the Fullerton community. And today I brought with me my daughter, my brother, and his wife, Michelle, and my good friend, Ashley.
Would they all like to come
welcome.
up and take a
And if
picture
all
with
4
you?
of our new assistant principals could please come up. Yeah, oh, let's have your family come up first.
First
Let's
the
have your
family.
family first. Family first, and then Laura, and then we'll have all of our assistant principals come up. So we have a lot of photo opportunities here. All right, and now all 4 of our new assistant principals, Kimberly, Susan, and Lindy. Perfect.
Lindy, who I wrote a note to Mindy. I'm so embarrassed.
And you'll all be trending on social media very soon this evening, so congratulations. Thank you all. Welcome to Fullerton.
We welcome you, and we know that you know we expect a lot from each of you because that's how this place goes. Now, thank you. Would you like to go now, Mr. Superintendent? More? You're good? Okay, we'll do Bev. Oh, Tracy, I'm sorry. Thank you. Bev, did you want to say a few words? You don't have to. No, not tonight. Lionel?
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to make this short and kind. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh. Make it short and kind of sweet. So I had the pleasure to attending at Richmond Elementary Sarah Cooper was awarded $15,000 for some furniture there through Lakeshore. So it was a pretty amazing event to see the kids walk into that classroom and whole new setup there. That was pretty amazing. And yeah, I guess she wrote a grant. She was the grand recipient of that. Also attended a coffee with the principals, meeting the new principal at Nicholas, and then went to the Valencia Park one as well too. So again, I continue encouraging parents to attend those, get to know your principals a little bit more, have some questions available. They're there to listen to you guys, both as parents and as staff. And then I also wanted to just encourage folks to get involved in the redistricting process. We had a presentation last week, and it's up on our website. So I encourage folks to also kind of look into that a little bit more as well too. But that's it.
Thank you. Rooney?
Yeah, also very briefly. This is the first time I think we've had the plastic down since last year. It feels so nice, and then the first time having all the principals together, and just so many firsts tonight. So this is an obvious display of the functioning of the Fullerton School District, but I had a unique experience last Saturday. So not this past Saturday, but the Saturday prior to that. Coaching soccer, Fullerton Rangers. This referee, who I'd never seen before, would not start the game until two individuals who'd brought their dogs onto campus took the dogs off campus. Now I'm pro-dog, but this referee realized that the Fullerton School District has a policy that there should not be any dogs on campus for obvious liability purposes. And it just struck me, you know, as we were running back to finally start the game, they were parents from the opposing side that had brought their dogs. The referee apologized and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but the district, Fullerton School District, will revoke the Fullerton Rangers contract to be able to play here." I smiled. I said, "Somehow I don't think that's, you know, not if I can help it, I guess," is what I was thinking. But obviously everyone here tonight, new principals running the district, but there are just members of the community that are working so hard, being principled about what it means to have the Fullerton School District and have a relationship with the Fullerton School District. And I found that to be really striking and pretty heartwarming. I just wish we'd won the game, unfortunately.
Thank you. The only comment I'm going to make tonight is this is Latino Month, and Fullerton School District has delved greatly into making this happen. I had the honor last Friday to visit Ladera Vista, the rooms of Mr. Wilson and Ms. Montoya, and see some of the lessons they prepared. And the lesson in Mr. Wilson's class was touching. It was about the Mendez case. And then it was followed by an article about Roberto Clemente and his actions to support Latino Americans. And that was wonderful, and it was coincidental on the day after the Dodgers had won that amazing game. And then I went into Ms. Montoya's class. Oh my God. The decorations, the things the students had cooked, the anger of my husband that I didn't bring anything home, and the pride of the students. But also, it wasn't just a cooking class. Students of Latino descent had done projects on their family, and students who did not have Latino descent that they knew about, they did projects on great Latino cooks. Not cooks, excuse me, chefs. And it was so fun to talk to them about their chefs and about the family histories. So I want to commend the staff at Ladera Vista and all of our teachers in our district who did so many wonderful things so far this month to have students aware of Latinos in our district, in our world, not just in our district, in our world. And I'm sure that many more wonderful things are going to transpire between now and the end of this month. I'm proud of our staff for pursuing this. Thank you. I want to tell someone in the audience named Molly Esquiel that we will take you will have time to speak when we get to our consent items, so I'm not ignoring you. Just so you know that, that's the way the rules go. And we are now going to do public comments. 1 minute, well, I have to do something first, excuse me. PTA, do we have anything from PTA today, Carmen? Oh, Wendy's here, I didn't see you back there, welcome. Wendy is the president of PTA Council, which represents all PTAs in the city of Fullerton.
Good evening, President Sugarman.
Good evening.
Members of the board.
Okay. Dr. Pleka, cabinet, and guests. It's so good to see everybody. It's been a long time since PTA's been at an in-person meeting, so I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to see everybody's faces. I wish I could give everybody a big hug because that's who I am. But okay, with 2 full months complete on campuses, we are also happy to be back to a mostly normal fall semester. Thank you, everyone at FSD, for your continued work to ensure our students, teachers, and staff are safe. PTA life at each school is rolling along. We are so happy to have had some regular events like book fairs and fundraisers already back in action. Membership drives are still in full swing, and we are happy to report that our total membership to date, including our high schools, is at 1,825 members. However, I know we can do much better than that. So if you have not yet joined your local and favorite PTA, please do so now. PTA's annual Art Reflections contest is underway as well. We are excited to see all of the extremely talented artists submit their entries to council at the end of the month. We will be showcasing the artwork with an art gallery at the end of the semester, so please watch for more details. That's it from now. From everyone at council, thank you so much, and we're so happy to see you.
Thank you. We're glad to be back. And are there any children left in the room now? No. Not seeing anybody. If you feel like removing your mask, you may, because without the students here, you have that ability. And if you want to keep it on, that's just fine. Don't worry about that. Next, CSEA. Do we have someone who'd like to speak to us, Marlene? We've missed you.
Good evening, Dr. Pletka, President Sugarman, members of the board and cabinet. Marlene Acosta speaking on behalf of CACA. With the leaves beginning to fall, things are starting to feel settled. Although COVID is still around, we've had an amazing team working hard to guide us. Our district nurses have been on deck, along with our health assistants and office staff, navigating student symptoms, testing, and quarantine. Health assistants are also busy with COVID, but also have the regular student office visits for stomach aches, nosebleeds, and headaches. Having health assistants for a full 6 hours has been very appreciated. Our teachers and program specialist, Tricia G., in charge of quarantine learning, ensure that our students are continuing to learn while not physically on campus. When it comes to the employee side of COVID, we're grateful for the support of Dr. Robin Gilligan in Student Support Services and Lori Bruneau in Risk Management. We cannot have success without the building block of our team, parents, who understand the path we are on, and for their support in keeping all children healthy. While the low cases of COVID are promising, we still must be vigilant. Dr. Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease doctor, who has become a household name, has said that children can go trick-or-treating this year. We hope that our students mask up and enjoy their Halloween safely with their families. A little walk around the neighborhood sounds like a treat after all that time we've spent inside. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here from DLAC this evening? No, okay. Do we have anybody here from FITA? Welcome, Mr. Jacobs.
Well, good evening, President Sugarman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pletka, Executive Board, teachers, parents, and guests. My name is Mark Jacobs. I'm president of FETA and represent teachers of Fullerton School District. FETA would like to communicate its appreciation to all FSD employees, especially our classified staff. Their support allows us to teach effectively. From our cafeteria, bus drivers, maintenance, custodians, office staff, instructional assistants, lunch supervisors, and to everyone else behind the scenes who make our schools run smoothly, I thank you. For example, Raymond's day custodian, David Angelis, arrives early to work every day, making sure our school is clean and safe. He's a can-do person. He's got a great work ethic. He never complains, and he connects with our students, staff, and our parents. David is just one of hundreds of wonderful support staff that makes our teaching possible and easier. FETA recognizes all of you and is grateful for your hard work. We also recognize the work and support that is done at the district level to make sure bills are paid, mandates are implemented, and the analyzing of ever-changing legislation that comes down from the state and then is translated to us. For example, there are many unsung heroes in making our school district work, and I'd like to recognize, especially right now, Dr. Erlinda Ruiz, of course, Dr. Julian Lee at Services, and Dr. Hammett. So he does more than I think is physically or mentally possible in a 24-hour day. I don't know how he does it. I can report to you that also our teachers, our nurses are working harder than ever, and I would like to recognize them for what they do every day. They are reconnecting with our students, reestablishing routines and procedures while teaching our standards-based curriculum, incorporating our social emotional lessons, digital leadership, providing learning loss interventions, and of course celebrating Hispanic Heritage this month and throughout the year in a variety of interesting and engaging ways. We are also providing schoolwork and managing independent study plans for students temporarily affected by COVID. We've also begun speech and debate in most of our school sites, and teachers are already seeing growth in students speaking loudly, clearly, with passion and confidence. Every day is full to the brim, and we often feel that we just don't have enough time in the day. And with so many new administrators and vice principals and even FETA reps, we're working with the district to review, re-energize, and reinforce our PAL, our partnership with administration labor mandate, our commitment. And our FSD FETA PAL event will be right now tentatively November the 9th in the FSD quad. And on behalf of FETA and our commitment to PAL, we invite each and every one of the board members to be there. We would love for you to attend. And although things are going well in our classroom overall, I'd also like to share a little dose of reality. FETA continues to be concerned regarding the observance of difficult behaviors in the classroom. And we appreciate expanded social emotional learning and health support. However, we continue to struggle with difficult behaviors that affect classroom learning, the safety of our students and our teachers. In some cases, challenging behaviors include throwing desks, chairs, destroying classroom items, disrupting learning, and the safety of students and staff. I have teachers who have been scratched, kicked, punched, and bruised. And some days these teachers are just fearful to come to work without knowing what the day will bring. We appreciate Ed Services when additional staffing and resources provide relief to our teachers and classrooms. Often staffing is limited and temporary, and teachers must deal with these disruptive behaviors that have never been experienced before all by themselves. And we continue to work with the district in addressing difficult behaviors by assuring that each site has a crisis support team established, which allow teaching to continue and provide safety to teachers and students alike. Though these situations are not found at all sites, we do recognize that it is becoming more and more common, and it needs to be effectively addressed. FETA also worries about inflation and how it is reducing purchasing power for everyone. Since 2010, we've experienced over a 23% increase in cumulative inflation, which includes more than 5% just this year. And as for everyone, salary increases have not kept up with inflation, meaning FSD teachers are actually making less today than in 2010 dollars. Increases in housing, rents, fuel, groceries, healthcare, and other products across the marketplace have all taken their toll on purchasing power, on real compensation. teachers continue to work hard and adapt to new challenges, but sometimes get discouraged as we struggle to work, Teachers continue to work hard to adapt to new challenges and sometimes get discouraged as we struggle to increase real purchasing power and to get ahead. We ask you to consider the increased demands that teachers have taken on while the real value of compensation is actually less than in 2010. On a happier note, FETA would like to wish all of you a very happy fall season and a happy Halloween with family and friends. We would also like to thank board members for your willingness to come speak to our FETA Representative Council meetings this week and in the coming months. We appreciate all that you do for our teachers and our wonderful FSD students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is someone going to speak to us from FSMA? Hello, Dr. Gilligan.
All right. Good evening, President Sugarman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Plecka, and Cabinet. My name is Robin Gilligan, and I'm the president of the Fullerton Elementary Management Association, or FSMA. I would like to send a warm welcome to new members to our team. You heard their names in the past, either board meeting or even tonight. So we have Caroline Llewellyn, principal at Hermosa Drive, Mauricio Gormaz, principal of Nicholas Junior High, Lindy McNutt, assistant principal of Sunset Lane School, Kimberly Simpson, assistant principal of Pacific Drive School, Susan Ungaro, assistant principal of Acacia and Rolling Hill Schools, and Tracy Doe, the assistant principal at Parks Junior High. Little fun fact about Tracy and myself, I was the assistant principal where she used to be a teacher in our old district, so we've come full circle this time. Additionally, I'd also like to congratulate members of our current team who have been promoted, and that is to Hannah Lim, principal of Beechwood School, Stephanie Guppy, principal of Laguna Road School, and Ira Ramirez, who is the administrative secretary in business services. So congratulations to all of our members. We also look forward to collaborating and working with everyone joining our team. And I just would like to share that the month of October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want to thank our psychologists, mental health specialists, mental health associates, and junior high counselors who continue to provide resources and counseling for students to continue to feel safe and build a sense of community while attending school. In the past several year and a half, we have taught kids, and even in the home and in the community, to separate and stay apart, and now we are working to bring kids together and to engage and to interact. And so that's going to take time. So a big thank you to our team of specialists at each of our sites to help bridge the gap, providing lunch bunch groups, individual or small group, and even classroom support. Additionally, with the classroom teachers who provide the SEL lessons weekly. So thank you for doing that. And in closing, I would like to remind our community that November 1st is a non-student day, which is the day after Halloween. However, this is a staff development day for employees across the district. And currently our managers are busy preparing for this day, and many of our department leads will be providing training and support. So we are looking forward to sharing with you all about that day when we come back at our next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. We now have a report that's really important to our entire community, and it has to do with our voting areas. So we look forward to hearing about the result of this last election and plans to readjust some boundaries perhaps in the Fullerton School District. Excuse me. Okay, we don't take that back in every language that just heard what I said. These are not school boundaries that we are discussing. We are discussing the election districts for the 5 people who sit here at the board table. And we don't want parents to suddenly go, oh, what? Okay, so this is election districts, not boundaries. And Ms. Berryman, thank you very much.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you, President Sugarman, members of the board, Dr. Plenka, and the executive cabinet.
My name is Angela Banuelos. I'm with Cooperative Strategies. We're the demographers assisting the district with assessing their current trustee area boundaries. So I was here presenting a few weeks ago, and today I have the updated 2020 Census Assessment for the district. So I'm going to provide you with the assessment of the current trustee areas and then recommendations for the second phase of this process. So over the last 10 years, we've seen a 5.7% growth within the district. The increases are proportional among the Asian and Hispanic Latino populations. As we can see, the difference in the 2010 census and 2020 census information for each trustee area, you can see that trustee area 1 had a negative 0.3% change, trustee area 2 a 2.4% change, trustee area 5 a 5.5% change, trustee area 4 a 16.7% change, and trustee area 5 a 4.6% change. So that is a difference of 6,727 new citizens in the Fullerton School District boundaries.
I do want to point out those include voters and non-voters and children. And people who have citizenship and people who don't have citizenship, correct?
Correct.
And so this isn't an increase in our school district population, it's an increase in our district area. Thank you.
Thank you. So here we did a comparison of the 2010 and 2020 district demographics. So here we see that there is a 14.2% change among the Hispanic Latino population. There is a negative 18.3% among the white population, increase of 9.7% among the Black African population, 18.4% in American Indian, Alaska Native population, 24.7% in the Asian population, and a negative 13.2% in the Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander population. We did see increases across the board around California for citizens identifying as other, so that's why you see a huge 215% increase in that, or citizens identifying of 2 or more races. As you can see, it's a 75.7% change. So here is another demographic chart of the district demographics. This is the 2020 census data. And just a quick refresher, this is just the total population within the school boundaries. And the total population is used to balance the population, providing each trustee area nearly equal amount of inhabitants. So this is what we have for your district. So here we provided a color graduated chart. This highlights the concentration of the Hispanic Latino community. So the lighter the color, the less the density, the darker the color, the higher the more density there is. And then this is provided by the citizen voting age population. This is the citizen voting age population provided by the American Community Survey. And American Community Survey is a subset of the Census Department. So that's where we draw this information. And then as another refresher, the CVAP is a better measure for us to understand who is eligible to vote within the district for elections and assist with not splitting communities of interest or impairing protected class voters. So as you can see here, this is the boundaries and the current Fullerton School District trustee areas, followed by the breakdown. Not sure what happened there, but so here we have the 2020 total population, which is 124,991. Each ideal trustee area size should be within 24,998 citizens. And the total variance currently within the district is at 13.8%. So CVRA, which is the California Voting Rights Act, and the Federal Voting Rights Act allow a 10% variance. So right now, the current trustee areas are over 3.8% in their variance. So how do we calculate the total variance, and what does that mean? So first we calculate the total population and we divide it amongst the amount of trustee areas. And second, we subtract the total population in each trustee from the ideal size. And lastly, what we do is we subtract the largest total population from the smallest total population, and then we divide it by the ideal size, giving us the total variance. So we did highlight that trustee area number 2. I'm sorry, I'm not sure why it moved, but there is a minority-majority district with a protected class of Asian voters at 53.7%. That's really ideal and what the CVRA requires. So moving forward, I'm going to provide the board and the community with some considerations for redistricting, and then approval to move forward with the redistricting process. So considerations when we're drawing boundaries or adjusting any boundaries within a trustee voting area. The first two are the highly considered when creating boundaries, and it means each area shall contain nearly equal number of inhabitants. So again, going back to the 10% variance, it just comes down to one person, one vote. Additionally, drawn to comply with Federal Voting Rights Act, so that means no cracking or packing. In other words, gerrymandering. So it does not impair protected class voters to elect a candidate of their choice. Additionally, we have compact and contiguous areas within the district, keeping geographical areas together. An example like valleys or mountains or main streets. We respect communities of interest as much as possible. Again, knowing how the community and having these maps, I reflect the community is in our best interest. Additionally, we follow man-made and natural geographic features as much as possible. We use major freeways or main streets to kind of cut those trustee areas when creating these maps. And if possible, we respect incumbency and other local considerations that the board or community might have. So
I want to make one comment there. In the past, when our voting districts were established, we did not consider what is our incumbency. Okay. We want sensible boundaries that when people look at them 15 years from now, they won't say, why does that look like that? And we want them appropriate.
Absolutely. So what does the next steps look like? So today is October 12th. We're presenting our evaluation and assessment and receive potential adjustments, input on potential adjustments. We'll take back the information received tonight, draw up some new boundaries, and present the district with a new set of scenarios, 3 scenarios, on November 10th. And on November 16th, we would come in, review the scenarios, get some community feedback or your feedback, and go back and apply those feedbacks, come back again on December 14th in hopes of approving a finalized map. If it's done in December, we would send the new adopted trustee area map to the county registered voters.
And then when
And then that would also start with the November 2022 election.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the superintendent to make a few comments now.
Yes, so we also want to get feedback from our community and some of the things that we already have planned. We want to get feedback from our community on these different maps, and I know we'll be receiving those soon enough. But we do plan to go to PTA and whatever time they want to allow, so we can get some feedback from our PTA, from DLAC and ELAC committees to get feedback, Champions for Learning, of course our associations, and getting feedback as well. So those are the ones that we have planned as well, of course on our website, and we'll also have even school site councils to be able to at least at a school site level also receive feedback. We're open, of course, to the board on any additional feedback you would like us to receive or to gather.
In the past, we had some public sessions at our junior highs, inviting our community that doesn't belong to associations and things. And I hope that we can calendar some of those too. Is that agreed on with everyone? Lionel?
Yes.
Definitely, that sounds like a good idea. Sorry, can you bring up the last slide with the deadlines? Because I think it was January that we have to submit it to the Orange County Registrar.
No, the deadline for school districts is February 28th.
Okay.
And the deadline to submit to the county register voters is 180 days prior to the election. But given that the school districts and community college have the deadline of February 28th, we send it once it's approved.
Yeah, I'd definitely like us to consider some community meetings, but with the holidays upon us, it could go into January, but as much input as possible, I think would be in our interest.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, let me jump back to the data, and then I'll jump back to another map. So what we see here is that trustee area number 4 has a huge increase in their variance. They're at 9.7%. So they have 27,433 people within that area. Now, if you look at the area on the right, trustee area number 5 is a negative 4.1%, and right next to it is trustee area number 3 at a 2.7%. So it won't be like really big districting and moving the boundaries around. I actually anticipate just moving about 1 or 2 census blocks just to meet the variance under 10%. However, if the district wants to go through the whole process again, then yeah, it would elongate the process, and community input meetings and all that would be necessary. But it's really, yeah, if you want to continue with that, then we will do that. And then I'll show you what we're talking about.
But when you come back with 3 maps, you would show us that those 3 maps would reflect different approaches, correct?
No, our goal is to provide you with boundaries that fall within the variance.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's such a small, it's a 3-point-something%, it could just be as well as moving 1 small census block into another trustee area.
Am I able to get consensus since this is on the board agenda? Sure. That's my board. Do you feel comfortable with that, Aruni?
So just to be clear, I mean, I was looking at this as well. I believe last time you said the 2 districts on the left had not as significant population changes, but the 3 on the right, red, blue, and purple did. So for example, right where Harbor splits off onto Brea Boulevard, you may not be familiar with the map, but I can see it in my mind. There's a little red area right there. That might be removed from the red, placed in the blue, and then a little portion over here by State College, Raymond maybe, Acacia, goes from blue to purple. I mean, are you talking about little cosmetic changes like that?
Absolutely, yes. So it would be the reverse to what you just said. We would have to take a little bit off the blue to provide to the red, and a little bit off the blue to provide to the purple.
You comfortable with that?
I see. No, I definitely understood. So the other thing, I wasn't on the board the last time the board went through this process, but my understanding is that the Fullerton School District's maps were the product of a process, more of what I guess we would call an open and transparent process that had community input. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was part of the transitioning process. So the board was at large before. So in order for a board to transition to voting by trustee area, it's a much bigger process. It's mandated that you have 2 pre-map public hearings and 2 post-map public hearings, and the county committee, Orange County Committee, requires community meetings. However, redistricting has no governing body over it. They just want you, the district, and demographers to get the process done by February 28th.
Bev? Lena?
Yeah, so I also wasn't on the board when the district went through this process, and I would just probably turn to Bob. I mean, have we had any questions arise since we went to district areas of this nature where folks, have question, after the process went into place? Was there any?
We haven't. Looking back in the process, there was a couple minor changes around a neighborhood where it almost randomly split like a block or two, and we made adjustments based on that. I mean, for sure, we could have at the junior high an open meeting and invite the public. We can present the map at that point. Again, I think it's probably a good idea. Again, there's some little tweaks that only maybe somebody in a neighborhood would know. Oh, if you cut across here, that's going to alienate 1 or 2 houses. And so those sorts of things, I think, make sense. And we could definitely have a community meeting in addition to the meetings I talked about. And so we can definitely add that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add that, as the process is moving along before we were to finalize a vote, presenting to the community partners, having the option for open meetings, I'm interested in hearing feedback, or at least providing opportunities for community feedback.
Great. I think we're all pretty comfortable with what you've suggested, and look forward to you coming back and then presenting it to our community to have them have input. Okay. What now, just so that Lionel and Aruni know, if we get 3 maps of adjustments, then our public, we show them the 3 maps, and then they talk about, everybody decides which one they prefer, okay? And if it's not big tweaks, or, we'll get what we get from the public and from our community members. But we just want to be fair and honest and represent everybody, which is also the law. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. I think that our public appreciates that too. Now we're going to move on to public comments. And Meredith Hughes, are you here? Did we lose you? I hope not. Dr. Pletka, I'm going to give you this request to speak, and maybe if this is a parent of someone in our district, you can find out if they have an issue we need to hear about. Thank you. And now we go on to, or do we have any other public comments?
There was one other public comment, I believe, in that.
Yes, but it's on item H.
Okay, that would resume public comments for now.
Thank you. Then we have to approve our minutes from the last regular meeting on September 28th. Bev, I believe you Zoomed that meeting.
No, I did not the public.
Not the public. Okay, so it's only the 3 of us, which is it's okay. Does somebody want to make a motion about the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of September 28th, 2021 meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Further discussion? No changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 3-0. Thank you. And next, we have to approve our agenda. Does anyone want to move anything around on the agenda? Not seeing anything, can I have a motion to approve, to take the agenda as presented?
I'll move to move the agenda as it is.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now, you've waited so patiently. We're moving on to our consent agenda, and we have one person who'd like to speak on item H. Just so the public knows, it is to approve 1013 FSD staff members to attend out-of-state travel to the Consumer Electronics Showcase Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada from January 4th through 8th. And thank you.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight I'm asking the board to vote no on item H on the board meeting agenda. I believe this item requires further diligence before being approved by the Board of Trustees. To review, this proposal is requesting a budget of $39,000 for 10 to 13 FSD staff members to attend the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas from January 4th to 8th. I do not feel the rationale provided warrants the above spending and is an opportunity to assess the long-term goals of technology use in our schools. The innovation that FSD has shown and continues to show is worth commending, and the purpose of my statement is not to dismiss that. Still, perhaps we want to consider the state of the students before the executive board spends more dollars on digital solutions to real-world problems. FSD students are returning from prolonged quarantine, during which, for many, the only thing they had for company was a device. As an educator, I can already see the toll this has taken on the mental health of my students. I would argue that what the students need right now is not the next best thing in tech, but instead something decidedly more human. The Consumer Electronics Show bills itself as the most influential event in the world. Please consider how this influence is wielded to facilitate the never-ending cycle of production, consumption, and sale of devices and applications to consumers who think nothing of equipping themselves with cameras, microphones, and GPS-enabled tracking. While on the subject of technology, influence, and children, how many instances of bullying and vandalism can be attributed to social media use and consumption of digital media? I also would like to ask that board members consider the Fullerton School District of Trustees' annual goals, specifically whether this proposal and current practices pertaining to new technology adoption promotes safety, mental, physical health, and well-being, which is goal number 5. Not only do I implore the Board of Trustees to vote no on this agenda item, but I also encourage you to visit school sites and take a look for yourselves and consider how this pandemic and increased technology use has affected our students. Should this agenda item be approved, I would like to request a presentation be made at the January 11th board meeting on behalf of all stakeholders to highlight exactly how this trip warranted the spending of $39,000 and how that money was used to benefit the students of the Fullerton School District. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we can respond, right? Because it's on the consent calendar. Okay, I am one board member who has gone in the past, and like you, I see many reasons to get children off of screen time. And part of the reason we went there was to look at what is offered that can get our children off of screen time. One thing we found was a board, like a game board that you would play. And what it did was children competed like in a game, but it provided language acquisition. And it wasn't a screen, it was a game you moved. And we had it totally revamped to what we needed to teach in first and second grade. The people who invented this device had no idea it had a use for education. And they made a prototype that we tried out at Fissler School, and it proved to be very effective. That's worth a lot of money. We learned about these systems of automatic safety locks when we were at that conference, which has nothing to do with the education itself, but addressing your feelings for the safety of our students and things, with a lot of money, right, Scott? A lot of money. We can put devices in our schools that with the push of a button in the office, you can lock down every single door in the school. That was actually the first presentation some of us had seen, but that was 3 or 4 years ago, and now that doesn't seem shocking today, right? But we've been looking at it during that time period and keeping in the back of our head that this is something possible that some schools across the country have actually put in. We encourage our students to compare their skills with students of other states and other countries. And there are groups that go to this convention and they present like game boards. I don't remember what the name of that is, Jeremy, where you compete on a specific task across the world, and it sort of shows you your talent in that area. We saw a crazy thing. I'm giving you a list so that you can understand some of the things you can bring back. There was a little machine this big. It wasn't crazy expensive, but we don't have high school kids, and we didn't know if it would work in junior high. You make a design, you create a design, you send that design to the machine. It puts it on your fingernail as like fingernail polish. Now that sounds funny, but manicure is a good job. And children come to school because something grabs them and they like it. This is a fun thing. And we didn't buy it. We thought of all the different uses and how some children would gleam to something like this. Nothing to do with screen time, has to do with an invention of the future that across the world a few school districts purchased. And one of my favorite things we saw 3 years ago, could be 4 years now, was little teeny drones. And I looked at them as little teeny drones. The leader of our tech team looked at them as, oh my God, we can teach children how to fly drones, and it opens a world for them. For example, our maintenance crew uses drones to fly over our schoolyards to see where the lawns are dry and where we need to improve them. We can see our roofs to see where we need better work in our roofs. And we have these competitive games at Fullerton Fest where, I don't have to go into it. Anyway, you've probably seen it if you've gone to Fullerton Fest. These concepts, which affect not only students directly, but affect site management also, are encouraging and open up our minds to other things we can do. And none of this has anything to do with new devices for our students. That's a whole separate billywalk. I don't know, because I'm not technically savvy, if going there teaches people about wiring or better connectivity. That's out of my realm. My realm is to see what types of things are there, maybe even in cybersecurity for children, that would encourage children to do things that are opportunities in the future that maybe are passion projects, that will encourage them to love coming to school and to love to be a worker of the 22nd century. And so I don't go there, and I don't think our team goes there. I know it says computer electronic showcase. We don't go there to see devices. Although they had some really cool hearing aids that I thought were 21st century, and they have TV screens that size you just roll up and take with you. It's amazing, but that's not what we're there for. Those are interesting side things. Finally, there is a building that just has 6-foot tables where people who invent things that they think are worthy of production display them. And when I was there, I don't even remember what that was. It was a thing you shook, and it was going to retail $20, and I thought it was fascinating, and I thought maybe the guy would give me one for the district, but he didn't. But when I spoke to him, he told me they're going on sale in February at Target, and next thing I knew, our school district had a few of them to try out. We have these microphones that are like in a box, right? And so you're talking in your classroom, and I could throw it over to Mr. Jacobs, and he could speak in the microphone in the box. There are classroom listening centers, all sorts of things that aren't unreasonable that we've actually brought to the school district and actually implemented in different ways, and that's why we go. And I hope that eases your mind a little bit. And each year that we've gone, I've only gone twice, but in January, after I come back, I do make a presentation to the board, and I want to invite you to come because I hope it works. You can tell from what I'm saying. I'm excited for what I see there, and I'm just a board member. I'm not staff, and they're excited too. And when we speak after dinner, we talk about what's the cost of this? Can we implement this? Is it worth trying a few of these to see the reaction of our students? And that type of conversation moves a district forward. Not forward on screen time, forward in opportunities for students to learn and to be productive people in our society. And that's why I go. And I hope that's helpful for you. And if you want to have more of a discussion, call me or email me, please. I'm very happy to go get a coffee with you and listen to more that you have to say, because I really do respect your opinion. I just want you to hear why I think this is an exciting thing for staff, and I'm happy they go. Oh, and by the way, it costs like $100 a person to go, and because we're repeat people, we get to go for free. So that's good too.
So free registration?
Yes.
Still $39,000 to go?
Yes, I guess. I don't know. That would be Jeremy's realm. I know that it's free registration for us because we've gone in the past. And I just signed up yesterday, and it was very confusing, but I made it, and I got through with the free. So we're saving that piece. But thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming and wanting to talk on this. Truly, that's not baloney. I really do, because obviously we are not explaining what this is about very well. And many people probably read this and thought we're just going to look at the newest product of, I don't know, a new laptop. And I'm really glad you came to speak with us. Thank you. Consent. Okay. Does anyone have anything they want to pull on consent?
No, but can I comment a little
Yes.
bit more on that? What I would ask for that particular issue or that particular item is, I'm sorry, you guys, I had some jaw surgery, so I'm lisping, so I'm sorry, but I am gonna talk. The amount of money that we will be spending, what I would ask our district is take a look at that. It does seem a little high, for the amount of people going, and I would ask that you relook at the amounts that we're spending so that we could do it responsibly. If you don't know Trustee Sugarman, when she goes to things like this, we're spending that much money. Being on the board for as long as I have and watching her go to these and having our staff go, that usually when we come back from that, we are getting probably just as much in merchandise or discounts or gifts to our district. She brings back with her. So for me, when I look at something like this, I completely agree with what, and I get what you're saying, because I would rather pay, I would rather see that money go straight into our classrooms, there's other things. But for this value, for what we're doing, I truly believe that we will be getting back what we're spending. So that's how I look at it. So when I vote, that's what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
As a side note, it's also an up to number. It's actually,
Yeah.
will be less, significantly less.
Well, I just wanted to add, thank you so much for speaking. I know it's not always easy to come and speak in public, but as a parent of a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old who was home almost every single day with my two boys during lockdown, I share your concerns, but at the same time, that was a great outlet for our boys, technology, just generally speaking, to be able to have fun, to speak to their friends online. But I do share your concerns. I mean, there are certain things that we don't let our sons do. So no smartphones, no social media. So I think I understand where you're coming from. But again, from my perspective, I would just join with Trustee Berryman that this district is so ahead of the curve in terms of technology, and I think that that's how we were able to make it through the pandemic without too much learning loss. I don't know if you're familiar with some of the presentations, but it was our adaptability and able to, the fact that Jeremy and other staff members saw what was coming with the lockdown and were able to be ahead and get Wi-Fi to our students and devices to our students. It allowed us to do our primary function. I mean, you mentioned the board goals, which I really appreciated. But educating students in even a global pandemic is something that technology helped us do. So. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you put up our gifts, please? We have 2 astronomical gifts on our gifts this month that I did want to point out. I think one's 16,000 and oh my goodness, my thing doesn't want to move. And 17. Do you want to read them to us?
So at Laguna Road for STEM, and then at Sunset Lane we got 17 for accelerated reader.
And Parks received a ton of gifts from their parents.
Yeah.
$100 donations from their parents.
And Parks for both after school sports and also choir.
So that's all.
Pretty amazing.
That's really wonderful. And we want to thank all of the people who've stepped up to help our schools and our programs specifically in a wide range of ways. So thank you very much. Does anyone want to pull or discuss any of our other items? Do we want to vote?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Can we make sure to put on the record with the revised personnel report that I have noted on the
Yes.
screen?
I'll
you.
rephrase. Move to approve the consent and agenda with the revisions as noted.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 4-0. And thank you. Next, we are going to have a public hearing to allow for input regarding the appointment of our board representative to the Personnel Commission. Dr. Hammett?
Yes, this is the time when the board has to look at their appointment of their member to the Personnel Commission. The Personnel Commission is a 3-member commission, 1 member appointed by the board, 1 member appointed by CSEA, and a 3rd member that's appointed by each of those 2 Personnel Commissioners. This is the time when the Personnel Commissioner, who we have, Tommy Romaneski, has his termed out, and the board at the September 14th meeting announced their intent to nominate him again, and this will be the public hearing for anyone in the community to come forth and have anything to say about that.
Thank you. I open a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to make a comment? I'd like to comment that he has done a wonderful job. And sometimes during the last 3 years, there were some real complications, and he shined above them and is a respectful, kind man, and I appreciate that. Bev, do you want to make a comment? Because you're most familiar with that board.
I agree.
You agree? Okay. Anyone else?
No,
That being,
I'm the new one.
you're the, okay. I'd like to have a motion.
No.
Oh, wait a minute, I have to close it first. I closed the meeting. Thank you. Now I need a motion to finish the hiring or the appointment.
I move that we reappoint Tommy to the Personnel Commission.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. And please give our congratulations, Paul, and tell him we really appreciate the work he performs on our behalf and the support of our classified employees. Thank you. Next, we have a discussion, approve a new proposed elementary and secondary emergency relief 3 expenditure plan.
So we received some additional funding in response to the pandemic, and so we have today Julian and Rob to share a little bit about, it's really an overview in terms of kind of large buckets that we'll be spending this money. We needed to write the plan. We will be submitting that plan based on tonight.
Good evening, Board, Cabinet, Superintendent, Cabinet, guests. Tonight we are presenting the Sr3 Expenditure Plan. There was an Sr1, there was an Sr2, the largest of them being Sr3. And will this go down? There we go. $20 million, $20,996,629. These funds need to be spent by September 30th of 2024. Part of receiving the plan is we need to, or the part of receiving the funds is to have the board approve a plan of how these funds are going to be spent. They're pretty specific about the things that you can spend the money on. Funds are used to address students' academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs, as well as any opportunity gaps that existed before or worsened because of COVID. So, as you know, we had many expenditures that came up with COVID, and so these funds are greatly needed. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting some of the plan. Dr. Lee will be presenting the other part of the plan too, and we'll have any questions, answer any questions you have at the end. We can go to the next slide. Up one. There you go.
The Fullerton School District values our stakeholder input, and with that, through our LCAP Stakeholder Advisory Committee, in addition to gathering additional input through our Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant input, we were able to capture some of our dire needs as well as priorities in the district, represented in the LCAP committee as well as
the input gathered, we have FETA, CSEA, FESMA, DLAC, PTA, ELAC, as well as our Champions for Learning. We were able to also tap into parents in the community by sending a survey so that even if you weren't a part of our associations, that you had an opportunity to provide input. And with that, we were able to gather input from also our local civil rights groups. So inputted when we sent out an inquiry, we received input from YWCA of North Orange County, the League of Women Voters of North Orange County, the Orange County NAACP. So with that, we were able to get some really good information to write this plan.
So the nice thing about these funds is they're given to districts, LEAs, and every LEA is different. Every LEA has different needs, and every LEA, how they spend these funds is different. So we've kind of put them into 3 buckets that are included in the plan. First one being strategies for continuous and safe in-person learning. And so of the $20 million, $8 million is going for to get kids and keep people safe, students and staff, safe facilities, the improvements, the bipolar ionization that we put in. We were able to use those funds to create safe environments. The weekly COVID testing that we've done and that we continue to do moving forward, these funds can be used for that. The temperature checks that we did at all of our schools, the tents, the sinks, all of that cost money. That was additional expenditures. The distance learning that we're providing this year with additional staff for that, 11 FTE to do that. That comes at a cost, but it is providing continued learning for our students. And if you think back to the graduation, graduation last year was quite different, and we wanted students to experience as much of a normal graduation as they could. Promotion, you only get one time in 6th grade and 8th grade for promotion. So we went a little bit more and did a little bit more than we normally would do, and these funds were used for that. Dr. Lee will talk about the next bucket.
Approximately $7 million went into the impact of loss of instructional time. So this includes not only our curricular supports, for example, iReady lessons, but our expanded RTI program, which stands for Response to Intervention. We added a math component this year, and we were able to have each site have math support in the areas of interventions. We expanded our Linda Mood Bell program after school that addresses foundational skills in reading and literacy. Our MyFSD Academy program was also an addition during the COVID years. In addition to that, this summer we offered a robust summer program that expanded not only into the instructional, touching upon instructional loss in an intervention type program, but also in the areas of arts, speech and debate. We expanded that to enrichment areas that students will feel motivated to come to school during the summertime. We also expanded within our technology as a part of the funds to address iPad tech support within not only our summer programs, but also through the COVID times as well. The remaining funds, approximately $6 million, are being dedicated to our SEL programs, which is a priority in our district. This includes staffing and curriculum. It includes mental health services as well as additional staff, our technology infrastructure, as well as unemployment insurance. And I stand here as a representative to our different departments. We also have represented human resources as well as IIS as a part of the Sr3 plan. They all provided input into prioritizing this spending. I do want to add in just a big thank you to Dr. Janelle Edlin Lau and to Melissa Greenwood. We stand before you here messaging not only priorities in the district and how they're funded, but these two individuals have put so much time into not only gathering input, but co-conspirators in also matching the funds and making sure that we are responsibly using taxpayer funds to support our students.
And so with that, if the board has any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer those questions.
this money has already been spent.
Not necessarily. So the money, remember, it can be spent up until 2024. And so many of the things, if you look at SEL, mental health, we're not just saying we're spending all the money this year. We've planned even in the out years to make sure that we can continue those programs. It's not a one and done.
Rooney?
Yeah, I had a similar question. It sounded like some of the spending was what we were doing to deal with COVID over the last year or so. But then some of the spending is also, has it gone to personnel for our social emotional learning and mental health staff that was part of a big push, you know, both from the board and from all of our stakeholders?
Correct. So some of the things we've done in the past, some of the things we're doing now, some of the things in the future. And it is a plan. It's based on our needs that we have today. And so to say, have they been spent? No, they've been encumbered and they've been planned on. Could that change in the future based on our needs? It could. Or if additional funding comes in somewhere else, that could change too. But it's the best plan that we have right now based on our needs and our needs in the coming months.
And it aligns with the goals. So like the SEL, that's one of those things where we've just really started, and it's only been a couple of months where we've had the additional support. We started in August, and we're looking to find ways to continue that SEL support in the future, and so funds like this definitely support that. There's the learning loss and mitigating that, and that's something too. We've just started the school year, but looking for ways to really address this, and so this is one mechanism, funding mechanism, that allows us to kind of move these goals forward.
Was there any expenditure on any infrastructure like the air filters? I know you mentioned the bipolar ionization, and any other kind of infrastructure that was spent or used with these funds?
Right. So if you think about ESSER 1 and ESSER 2, of which we received funding there, that was about $11 million early on. That's when we were doing the MERV 13 filters, and we were able to use that for PPE and those types of things. So those filters, again, those are things that have to be replaced. The bipolar ionization, it's a one-time expense so we're going to get a big return on that.
I did want to echo and thank you guys for all the time and effort that you put into this, because reading through this was it's interesting, and it echoes and it does align to what our goals are, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jan, did you want a copy?
Yeah, I just wanted to add in and see if there's ways to kind of leverage potentially some of these funds with I mean, so we talk about getting input from the community and other stakeholders, and so just kind of leveraging that with what else is happening out there. I mean, I know, like the summer programs that we did, potentially what else is out there that we can kind of leverage to kind of still have a more robust component to this. So maybe finding other ways to kind of leverage with what else is happening out there with other potential organizations that really align strongly with us, just so it's not like all on us.
And if there are funds that come in too that are more specific to certain things, even though we've allocated in the future, we can say, you know what, great, okay, so now we have a different source for that. We were going to allocate X amount of dollars for this. It now allows us to look within the plan and say, is there another way we can use those funds?
What will trigger the ESSER 4 expenditure plan and the ESSER 5 expenditure plan?
That would probably be Monday and then the following Thursday.
But I mean,
correct.
Infusion of new funds, perhaps, a new grant that would come in, or when certain benchmarks are met. How do we have to keep accounting for this expenditure?
So the ESSER 3 is a pot of money that came in, and so we need to report on that. I believe there's a annual plan that we have to do and let them know how we're spending the funds. Whether new money comes in as far as ESSER 4, that would be up to the federal government and what that would look like and what those funds could be used for. So we'll keep our eyes open for that.
So you are saying that you can change this if you could change this if you need to.
Right. It's not locked in. Correct. Within the parameters, it's a plan. It's a lot like the LCAP. I mean, it evolves.
Thank you for putting
Yeah.
this all together.
So that's exactly,
go
sorry,
ahead.
real quick. So that's exactly what I was thinking. I just could not think of the LCAP funding, if we can kind of leverage that with what else is kind of happening, but again, amongst, yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
The topics you picked, like learning loss and SEL, are near and dear to us. As Dr. Pletka said, they address our goals. And so we appreciate you focusing this huge pot of money, this huge infusion, and also keeping in mind that some of it may require ongoing monies that the future may not have for us. But at least right now, when these students need it a lot, we will jump in there with all we can to support them and the staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have someone who came in and.
Can we have
Trustee, President Sugarman, I believe
yes.
we need to approve it, so I'd
Yeah,
like
do
to
you want to make a
move.
motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the new proposed elementary and secondary school emergency relief 3 expenditure plan.
I'll second.
Further dialogue? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. This is an unusual time in the meeting to do this, but we got a request for someone to speak, and we appreciate that. So I'd like to call up Darren Tannehill, I think. I hope I didn't ruin that. Hi.
The fact that you're able to read that means you're a teacher. Well done. Should go back here.
Sure.
Or a doctor's wife.
Thank you so much for accommodating me. And this is my first board meeting. It was a lot of stuff was very cool to learn. A lot of stuff maybe was not really connected to me, but it was interesting to sit through. And the reason I wanted to come here and speak was I bought a home here in Fullerton in 2014 when it was time for me and my wife to have a family. And we did that on purpose. We did that because of the community here and the schools more than anything else. Like, you guys are exemplary, an incredible school district. Everything we heard from every person that had been through it, nothing but fantastic things to say. So it's just heartbreaking that we're finding ourselves pulling our kids out of the Fullerton School District. I have a daughter that's 8 years old that went to Golden Hill. She was in Miss Murray's class, 2nd grade. She loved it, fantastic. But we were unwilling, and we had the opportunity to go into private school. We were unwilling to allow her to miss that social time more than anything else. The education that you guys provided online wasn't horrible. You did the best you could in a horrible situation, but we were able to make a change, and unfortunately, we had to leave Golden Hill, which was a great school. My 5-year-old is at Hermosa right now with Mrs. G and Mrs. Rodriguez. Beautiful ladies. It's a fantastic school, but with the vaccine mandate coming up, there's no possible way I'm going to allow my child to be vaccinated. And in this situation, like I've heard it said, everybody could have their own opinion, but not their own facts. But in this situation, we all have our own facts on both sides of the argument. So it's pointless to go into this statistic or that statistic, just to say as a parent, I'm unwilling to allow my children to be vaccinated. I think the risk of the vaccination could be worse than the risk for COVID for them. And with that, now I'm gonna have to pull another child out of Fullerton School District, and that sucks. Like, I really would rather both of my kids be going to school with you guys. So I just wanted to say that out loud, let you guys hear it. I don't know if you have any control. It's a difficult situation. But I just want you to know that at least this parent, and I'm here with some other parents that feel the same way, that any help you could give us or any guidance you could give us to see us through this situation, we'd appreciate it. And we're going to be coming to more of these, not for any division. It's not me against you, it's me with you. I just don't know, I don't know the answer, but I just want to make sure that that you're aware that it's something that for us, we're unable to go along with it. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. We, by law, cannot comment during public comments because it's not been on the agenda. That's the Brown Act. But our superintendent, I think, will
I was going to say,
speak with
if you want
you.
to just leave your name and number with Carmen, my assistant.
Absolutely. Carmen's got it. I appreciate it. Anything you guys could do, so thank you.
Thank you, and we're glad you came. We know you share the opinion of quite a few parents.
Thank you.
Do we have possible requests? Perhaps with that comment, maybe we'll have just a couple minutes at a future board meeting to discuss the laws and their ramifications on our district and
I can give an update.
Would you please? Because I think that would be helpful in terms of knowledge, not necessarily helpful. Thank you. Is there any other request? Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned. Next meeting, November 16th.